Hi everyone, good Tuesday evening to you. It's weather for Weather Geeks time. It's our daily deep dive into the weather in Eastern Ohio, Western PA. It's been kind of a January-like day today, and we've had a lot of these days in November. Before we get to the snow and the forecast for the next couple of days, quick review of some climatology here. This is the temperature trace for the entire year so far, and several things stand out. If you haven't seen this, I've shown this a few times in recent weeks, but a few things definitely stand out, including the really cold start to the year, the big warm-up that occurred in the second half of February, the cold March and April. Meteorological spring got off to a sluggish start, but once spring kicked in, we almost went straight into summer because May was remarkably warm, and actually May started a string of months that were all very, very warm, and then the pattern flipped in the middle of October, and it's been pretty chilly ever since, cooler than average for most of the time, now for well over a month. So the second half of October and a good chunk of November have been on the cold side compared to the average. November will be our first colder than average month since April. Remains to be seen what December will bring temperature-wise. I'll do an updated December and winter forecast coming up on 21 News at 6 and 11 and on Weather for Weather Geeks early next week. Should do that Monday evening, weather permitting, and it looks like the weather will cooperate for that. We don't have a particularly snowy mid-range forecast. In fact, it looks mild enough for rain starting Friday, taking us through the weekend and early next week. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about the temperature trend, because there hasn't been much of a trend over the last 24 hours. It has been one of those days. We sometimes see this in the cold weather season where the temperature doesn't fluctuate hardly at all. We see our highs and lows at weird times of the day. In the middle of summer, we follow a pretty predictable diurnal range most days. You see your coldest temperature right before sunrise, you see your warmest temperature mid to late afternoon. But in the winter, sometimes it doesn't work out that way, and today was one of those days where it just did not want to budge, the temperature out there this afternoon. All right, we have been dealing with some light snow showers and flurries off and on throughout the day. Occasionally there's been some slick spots that have developed, especially on the non-major roads, your side streets, your secondary roads, alleys, parking lots, sidewalks. And some places have even had an inch or even 2 inches on patio furniture and on top of cars and things like that. Most of our paved surfaces today, again, especially if they've been treated, have been in pretty good shape because the snow has never been all that heavy today. We have seen mostly light snow with these lake effect snow showers today. That'll be the case for a lot of the night tonight, but occasionally there can be some beefier snow showers that produce some heftier accumulations, especially now that it's dark out. Weather Service does have a winter weather advisory in Mercer County, also up into Geauga and Ashtabula. It becomes a winter storm warning up into Crawford and Erie County in northwestern PA. All right, this is a loop of the last 5 hours or so showing the snow bands coming ashore. And, they tend to lose their punch a little bit as they approach the Youngstown area. But again, we've had enough that some places have seen some minor accumulations. What you see is what you get for tonight. These things are going to come and go, these little fingers of snow. If you have to be traveling tonight and early in the day tomorrow, just be careful out there. We're not expecting big accumulations in most spots, but the impacts are what we want to focus on. And the impacts, even if you just see 3/4 of an inch of snow, the impacts can be significant if you're trying to drive out there tonight and into tomorrow morning. During the daylight hours tomorrow, I think from Youngstown south and west, our snow showers will shrivel up fairly quickly in the afternoon. North and east might last well into the afternoon over towards I-79 in Mercer County. Might not really lose the snowflakes north of Interstate 80 and especially over to Mercer County until after sunset tomorrow evening. We haven't really changed our snowfall forecast all that much for this event tonight and into tomorrow. To our north, 6 inches plus, fairly common. Andover, Ashtabula on east towards Meadville and up into Erie and especially up into southwestern New York in our TV viewing area. This is a coating to an inch or 2, perhaps 3 at most, for a good chunk of Columbiana County, Mahoning County, Lawrence County, and even a fair amount of real estate in Trumbull County. But some places are probably going to try to pick up a little more than 3 inches, and your best bet would be in the far northern reaches of Trumbull up towards 87, a little bit closer to the primary snow belt, and then heading across the state line into Greenville, heading down towards Mercer, New Lebanon, the I-79 corridor, maybe not quite down to Grove City, but that's kind of that zone in that dark blue right up and through here that you have your best chance of seeing more than 3. Elsewhere, kind of in the heart of our viewing area, Youngstown to Warren and all the surrounding areas, yeah, coating inch 2, perhaps 3 at most. It's not all the snow in the world, but again, it can make things a little bit slick. So use caution out there, especially if you are going to be traveling on some neighborhood roads and some side roads. If you're on 224 or the Turnpike, or I-80, 76, Route 11, kind of the more heavily traveled roads, be cautious. But those have more than likely been treated quite a bit more than some of the secondary roads, and should be in decent enough shape unless you get under a heftier snow band for 5 or 10 minutes. So Wednesday morning commute will give you the yellow caution light there with some snow showers around. I think the evening commute will be better in most places, maybe still a little bit slick in maybe parts of Trumbull, but especially over to Mercer County. But for the most part around Youngstown and points south, your evening commute on Wednesday should be just fine with nothing more than a flurry or two. An uneventful day coming up on Thursday. Might even try to see the sun in the afternoon. We'll try anyway. Hopefully we see a little sun Thursday afternoon because we're not going to see much Friday and over the weekend. Might even get clipped by just a touch of rain with this warm front on Friday. I doubt this is real impactful for the holiday parade and tree lighting ceremony in Youngstown Friday evening, but it's something I'll be keeping an eye on, of course, over the next couple of days. We are going to warm up this weekend. I've got 57 in the forecast for Sunday. This is the 6 to 10 day outlook showing colder air on the march across the U.S. as we go into early next week. And then when we transition to the 8 to 14 day outlook, a lot of the lower 48 states covered by what should be a pretty chilly air mass by early December standards for a time. Beyond this period, beyond the 8 to 14 day period and into middle December, and maybe between, say, the 13th and 20th, maybe even a little longer than that, I do suspect we're going to get into a milder pattern. So I'll have more to say about that, of course, as we do an update on that December forecast coming up in 6 days on TV, it here online as well. Thanks for watching the Tuesday evening Weather for Weather Geeks. Hope you enjoyed and hope you have a great Tuesday night.